Live at the Nasdaq market site, I'm Elyse Southwell, and this is Nasdaq Disruptors. Today we're talking about money management. Should your money be managed by a real live human being or a robot? Digital money managers, also known as Robo-Advisors, are both an online advisor and an asset manager. One of the most popular robo-advisors in the space is Betterment. They have over $500 million assets under management, and with us today is Jon Stein, founder and CEO of Betterment. Welcome, Jon.
Thank you, Elyse. Great to be here with you.
Tell us about Betterment.
Betterment is the largest online independent investment advisor. We've got over $7.5 billion under management for 220,000 customers. And we're transforming investing. When we're totally doing it, we're taking the timeless principles that have been best practices for generations, and we're using technology to make them more efficient and more accessible to people. So we're maximizing your money for you in a way that's never been done before. The industry, the old way, is controlled by large mutual fund warehouses that are trying to sell you their funds and brokers that are trying to sell you anything they can earn a commission on. Betterment is an advisor, and we're forming a new type of relationship with clients to use advice that maximizes their money in a way that's in their best interest.
Why would somebody use a robo-advisor versus a real live human being?
Well, we've never thought about it as humans versus robots. We're really combining the best of both, and all of our technology and all of our service is backed by the most amazing people. We have an incredible team here in New York that's on the phones with clients every day, that's building algorithms that help to make the most of their money for them. And no matter where we think customers get advice, they should be looking for the best technology paired with the best people.
Well, robo-advisor has become a popular term. So, I mean, there is a trust factor when you're talking about robots, when you're talking about AI. Is there a trust factor with using a service like Betterment?
I love the trust question because we play so well there. If you ask people, who do they trust? What types of companies? Edelman did a survey last year about what types of industries, pharmaceuticals, finance, technology. Finance came out at the bottom of the rankings. Technology was at the top. People have a lot more trust in technology companies. Think about the technology brands that you know versus the large financial institutions. They're at the bottom. And so people expect technology to help make things more efficient. They expect technology to make things more accessible for them. And by pairing that technology with the obligation to do what's in our customers' best interests as a fiduciary, as Betterment is, we're building the financial institution of the future, doing all the things you would want it to do, building in the right way for you.
How about adoption? So do you see more adoption with millennials?
There's this common misconception that just because we're using technology that it must be for the kids. The reality is that most of our assets come from non-millennials. 30% of our assets come from people who are over age 50. So our actual demographics shift a lot older than people expect. Shouldn't be surprising because the kinds of things that we do, maximizing your money for you, saving you taxes, providing great service and great intuitive experiences, those are things that everybody should want. Why would only millennials want that kind of service?
I don't know. It's a really good point, though, right? And I mean, you manage so much assets that, of course, these are people of wealth,
right,
that are trusting you with their money.
And I think also when we first started, there was this perception that, wow, like this is a great thing for people who are just starting out. And over time, over the last 7 years, our technology, our service has become so much more sophisticated, layer upon layer of optimization, personalization, taking into account your unique situation. And today, well, back then maybe we had the best service for people with up to $100,000. Today, we've got the best service for people with $100,000, $2 million, whatever, you name it. We've got the best way to invest that money.
Yesterday, you had a big announcement. Can you share that with us?
This is one of our most exciting announcements in years. For the longest time, we have heard from customers who come to the site that, I love what you guys are doing. It makes complete sense to me. I'm not sure if I can take the leap without talking to somebody about it. And we say, well, call us. You know, it says we've got customer support on. They say, no, but I want just a little bit of help making the transition. I want to understand my plan and how Betterment fits into my whole financial life. And over time, we have hired CFPs, and today we're excited to announce that we have advisors available. So no matter how you want to get your advice, we've got the solution for you. If you just want the pure digital solution, we've still got the best in market digital online wealth management. If you want to talk to somebody about it, we've got that. And if you want a dedicated advisor, we can refer you to a licensed fiduciary advisor who's fee-only, whose values are aligned with Betterment, who's on our network as well. So no matter how you want to consume advice, we've got the advice for you.
Wow, that's great.
It's exciting.
So the new fiduciary rule is being phased in, I believe, in April. Can you tell our viewers what that is and if Betterment is affected by that?
The fiduciary rule is a great thing for consumers, and fiduciary advice in general is a good thing. The fiduciary rule from the DOL was an effort to extend the idea of a fiduciary to more of the industry. And that's been happening little by little on its own as people, as consumers like you and me, decide, maybe I shouldn't just be getting my advice from a broker or a salesperson or a company that's trying to sell me something. Maybe I should get advice from someone who's got my best interests in mind. That's happening on its own. The fiduciary rule is there to accelerate that and help people adopt that and help and force companies to be more transparent about how they're making money so that customers have an understanding when they're being sold something versus when they're getting really well-aligned advice. So Betterment is always aligned with our customers because we're a fiduciary. We always have been, always will be. That's the way that we're set up from a legal and regulatory perspective, and it's what our values are as a company. And the fiduciary rule is just, it's encouraging because it's encouraging the rest of the industry to follow our lead.
7 years ago, you launched Betterment at TechCrunch's Disrupt. And Chris Sacca, who is a guest judge on Shark Tank sometimes, was a little bit of a non-believer. Why
Yeah.
was that?
Chris Sacca at TechCrunch said, this just feels too simple. It doesn't have that bewilderment that people expect when they come to a financial services company. And that sentiment that we faced then is something we still face today. Some people really expect their financial services to be complicated, to be bad user experiences, to not be doing things in their best interest, right? That's because that's the way most of the industry is. And we all suspect that. We all think, well, maybe I'm being sold something, and maybe this isn't really set up to make the most of my money. It's not. The reality is you're right. And we have to wake people up to this reality that they're getting cheated by most of the financial institutions that they're using. Even if those people aren't robbing them blind, they're not getting everything they deserve. We are the only financial service that you can be sure is constantly working to maximize your money. We are doing everything we can to make the most of it for you. But that is not something that people are used to hearing. And when Chris Sacca said, it needs to be complicated, he's thinking about the old way of investing. And we have to shift perceptions, wake people up. There should be a better way. And we're building it that way.
I think he's a believer now.
He is now. He's come around.
Okay, so let's get to the good stuff about your inspiration for starting Betterment.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was a long journey for me. I worked in consulting to some of the largest banks and brokers for a long time. I was managing my own money at the time, trading and investing, and I had 7 different brokerage accounts. I was optimizing and trying to do all these things, tax efficiency here, taking some bets on the market there, and I was making some stupid mistakes. I did some things well, right? But I bought some bad stocks. I bought Enron on the way down, what was I thinking? How could I do that? And I realized that a lot of the principles that I had learned as an economics major and a psychology minor, kind of putting those things together into behavioral economics, those principles applied to me as much as they did to anyone else. And I wanted a service that would help me do the right things with my money automatically. It would give me advice, and then it would help me take the next step automatically. And I thought, why doesn't anybody build this? And I looked at the industry, and I realized it was all just a bunch of product salespeople. That's what the financial services industry was. And there were advisors, but man, were they expensive. And nobody was putting the investment into technology to make that advice accessible to everyone. I realized that if I wanted that service, I was going to have to build it. And that's how I got after starting Betterment.
Do you use Betterment yourself?
Of course. I've got all my money with Betterment, as do most of our employees, by the way. Basically, over 50% of the people that we hire at Betterment were already Betterment customers. That's how they heard about us, and they come to us already loving it. And those who weren't customers become customers quickly because it's infectious. I mean, we all know and believe strongly that there is nothing better you could do with your money. It's just obvious. And the hard part for us is, why doesn't everybody already get this?
I feel it. I really know. I really do. Yeah. I feel it. Do you consider yourself a disruptor, Jon?
Absolutely. I mean, we are coming right at the heart of this industry. We are going after it. Now, in some ways, we're using these time-honored best principles, right? Diversification, rebalancing, tax efficiency. We're just using that. We're using technology to make them more accessible to people. So, in some sense, we're using the classics, but we're doing it in a much better way that works for people.
So you might have answered this question already, but what was the best money-making decision you've ever made?
It was a scary thing to leave my cushy consulting job with the country's biggest banks and to start Betterment. But that's been the best decision I made. I mean, it's good for me, it's good for my family, it's good for my friends, it's good for everyone who's benefiting from our services.
Betterment's mission is to help people live better. Why is Robo-Advisors services why does that help people live better?
When we say that, when we say our mission is to empower people to do what's best with their money so they can live better, we mean that it lets you maximize your money. You're getting more out of what you have and allows you to have more time to spend with your family or doing whatever it is you love, because you can be sure that we're working to maximize your money for you, so you don't have to worry about it so much.
Nasdaq's mission is about innovation and entrepreneurship and ambition. Do you have advice for entrepreneurs?
My favorite advice that I often give to entrepreneurs, and I love talking to entrepreneurs who are starting out. I did that a lot when I was starting out, and so I have to pay it forward or pay it back in that sense. I love to tell them, make it real, and whatever you're doing, send the thinnest proof of concept out to the market that you can. So build it, make it something tangible that investors, customers, potential employees can react to. So when we were starting Betterment, we had to make the site real quickly. And I coded it up myself. I'm not an engineer, I'm not a coder, but I had to get in there and build something, a proof of concept that people could see. But even if it's something simple, like just print your business card, make your company real, make it something tangible that you can, and then every little bit of that you make it incrementally more real, people will start to believe in what you're doing.
Jon, thank you so much for being here. Thank you all for watching. I'm Elyse Southwell, and this is Nasdaq Disruptors.